Good afternoon and Happy New Year, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to the Crow's first newscast of 2024. I'm your host, Madison Buckingham, and I'm here to bring you the top stories. Weather is a top story today as the lower mainland that experienced rather tame conditions during the holidays is now expecting a drop in temperature. Commuters this morning have experienced a mix of rain and snow. Municipalities in the greater Vancouver area were preparing overnight by pre-treating roads. According to Environment Canada, temperatures are currently at 1 degree Celsius, causing the slushy conditions. Things are expected to warm up a bit this afternoon, with temperatures rising to 3 degrees Celsius, accompanied by rain. Flurries are projected into the weekend, with even lower temperatures coming up. Surrey RCMP are seeking help from the public in locating a missing 14-year-old boy. Danny Yar, commonly known as Danny Adelajang, was last seen at roughly 3 a.m. on Sunday on 17th Avenue near 156th Street. Adelajang is described as 5'8", 132 pounds, with short brown hair and brown eyes. He was last seen wearing a black hoodie and black pants. Those with any information are being asked to contact the Surrey RCMP. The RCMP is reassuring residents of Coquitlam after a series of shootings that have taken place over the weekend. The most recent being Saturday afternoon near Westwood Street and Glen Drive. The shootings have resulted in one individual being taken to hospital with life-threatening injuries. The Mounties say that the 3 shootings were targeted and gang-related. The incidences are creating fear in locals, but the RCMP says that public safety is the top priority. Mourners are gathering in Richmond Hill, Ontario today to mark 4 years since the Iranian military shot down flight PS-752. A special ceremony has been arranged that will include speeches, performances, and presentations. The Ukraine International Airlines was taken down in January 20, leaving behind no survivors, most of whom were bound for Canada. 55 travelers were Canadian citizens and 30 were permanent residents. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau will be attending the event, joined by Foreign Affairs Minister Melanie Joly, Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland, and Transport Minister Pablo Rodriguez. In international news, Pope Francis presented a speech to Rome's diplomatic corps earlier this morning. The Pope spoke to many world affairs topics, including the Israel-Hamas war and Russian-Ukraine war, and he discussed his opinion on surrogacy. Reporter Charles de Ledesma has more details about the address.
In a major policy address, Pope Francis calls for a universal ban on surrogacy. Francis says the practice of so-called surrogate motherhood is deplorable, representing a grave violation of the dignity of the woman and the child. The pontiff continues, a child is always a gift and never the basis of a commercial contract. Consequently, I express my hope for an effort by the international community to prohibit this practice universally. Francis also lamented that 2024 had dawned at a time in history in which peace is increasingly threatened, weakened and in some part lost. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
Storm warnings have been issued in Australia as floods and thunderstorms are expected to carry on throughout the week. The extreme conditions are forcing hundreds of residents to leave and evacuate their homes. Reporter Tom Rivers has the details.
Hundreds of homes have been evacuated and dozens rescued from floods in southeastern Australia. In Melbourne, emergency management official Rick Nugent advises,
if you are in a flood-impacted area or a flood-prone area, please have a flood plan. Know what you're going to do if those rains continue to occur.
And in the next few days, no reprieve, more rain in the forecast. Tom Rivers, ABC News at the Foreign Desk.
In entertainment news, Lily Gladstone made history last night when accepting her award for Best Actress in a Motion Picture Drama. The actor included the Blackfeet language in her speech in Algonquin language. The actress expressed her wish to spread the education of her native language and thanked the community that she credits with supporting her.
I love everyone in this room right now. Thank you. I don't have words. I just spoke a bit of Blackfeet language, the beautiful community nation that raised me.
Gladstone went on to thank her mother, who also worked hard to make sure the Blackfeet language was being taught in schools, despite it not being her mother's native language. This has been your news to 10:10 a.m. This is your host, Madison Buckingham. We'll be back at 12 to bring you the latest update.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow. This is 1680 The Crow, and you're listening to our feature presentation.
Sushi is one of the most popular dishes in the world, but is sushi as we know it in Canada the same as it is in Japan? What do masters of the craft think about sushi here?
We have to do something new too. That one is not the deep fried sushi.
Not that.
No, not that way.
There's no doubt that Canadian food culture is heavily influenced by immigration. Vancouver's food scene is known for being incredibly rich in diversity, including some of the best Chinese food that can be found outside China. As a coastal city, we also have an abundance of seafood, which means dishes like sushi that utilize a lot of seafood are found everywhere. With all the different ethnic communities that call BC home, there is no shortage of cuisines to try. The variety of cuisine that lines our streets is a testament that immigrants continue to change local food culture. But is the reverse the same? Are our food preferences also changing traditional cuisine? The answer to this question is a little less obvious. For example, fortune cookies are ubiquitous in Chinese restaurants across North America. In the Western world, they are a symbol of Chinese cuisine and even culture. But did you know that fortune cookies are not found in China? The fortune cookie is actually a Japanese invention that was brought to America. My name is Tammy Mack. Welcome to Let Them Cook, a series where we explore how foreign food culture shifts and evolves when it travels the globe and becomes acquainted with new audience. This is episode 1, Mr. Yoshida. The California roll that is a staple in every sushi restaurant here was invented in Vancouver by chef Hidekazu Tojo, a Japanese Canadian and the namesake of Tojo's on Broadway. Although there has been some debate about how accurate this is. Chef Tojo also claims to have been the pioneer of the inside-out style of sushi. Traditionally, sushi ingredients are wrapped in a seaweed wrapper facing the outside. However, Chef Tojo, sensing a local distaste for seaweed, instead wrapped his rolls in reverse order, with the rice on the outside and the seaweed hidden inside. Chef Tojo is also credited with other iconic rolls like the BC roll, rainbow roll, golden roll, and my personal favorite, the spider roll. He's also known as the first sushi chef to incorporate smoked salmon into sushi. Chef Tojo has become an ambassador of a sort for this new Canadian style of sushi. His innovations have proved more than a little successful, expanding to as far as Europe. Other sushi chefs have followed suit, including California rolls and the like in their menu. But what's it like as an authentic sushi chef navigating a market that already knows what it likes?
Deep fried rolls, put on the sauce on top.
Deep fried
Yeah. And the dragon rolls. Yeah. That's more they like it. Yeah, but it's a business, right? If they like it, I gotta do it. Yeah, if they don't like it, I don't do it.
That was Chef Yoshida, a sushi chef walking the line between following local trends and adhering to his traditional cooking style. We'll meet him after the break.
This episode is sponsored by Marks. Visit your local Marks today for a wide variety of high-quality brands, ranging from Helly Hansen and Columbia to Carhartt and Levi's. Marks, all things simple.
Let's start by transporting to Yoshida's Sushi, a modest, homey restaurant located near the intersection between Victoria Drive and 41st Avenue in Vancouver. The decor is simple, with wooden accents reminiscent of old restaurants in Tokyo. Owner and chef Ko Yoshida tells us they're still in their first year of business. Despite that, they've garnered a 4.8-star rating on Google. Out of 102 Google reviews, the majority of them are rave reviews, with the words delicious, fresh, and best repeated over and over again. Many praise their omakase set for its value and quality. Ko was born and raised in Japan, where he worked part-time for a few years before moving here as a 22-year-old. Most of his cooking experience comes from working in various sushi restaurants in Vancouver, so many he can't keep count. When asked about his experience transitioning from cooking in Japan to cooking in Canada, he only had two things to say.
When I have North American food first time, so much mayonnaise, right? Deep fried mayonnaise, but Japanese doesn't have much that one. So very hard to, adjust to the North American style. Because in Japan it has not much rolls. Just a nigiri and sashimi. Nigiri size is much smaller than here. They have a 1 bite size, but in here almost a 2 bite size. That's very hard to adjust it.
He mentions that over his career, he's noticed that people are looking for something different, speaking to the global trend towards eating healthier.
But now I think I don't need to do too much because customer want to eat more original Japanese food. But I just a little bit sweeter than Japanese food. That's a more good for everybody. Used to be 20, 30 years ago. We have to put more mayonnaise and deep fry, but now more healthier, right?
Ko also tells us that what his clientele wants changes depending on which neighborhood he's in. He says this location on Victoria Drive attracts a predominantly Asian demographic that doesn't care too much for rolls, but likes a lot of fresh fish, especially scallop and eel. On the other hand, to serve a predominantly white demographic, he would have to include the likes of deep-fried rolls to stay afloat. Now, deep-fried California rolls aren't found in traditional Japanese food, of course, and Ko was quite candid about how he feels about them.
My opinion, there's no meaning to deep fry the rolls because the rice is already cooked. Then deep fry again is not make sense. So before cooked, then deep fry, and I understand. But after make a steam rice, then deep fry again, no make sense.
I wondered how he balanced adjusting to what his customers want versus how he feels sushi should be. He says that he remains committed to Japanese cooking styles, but part of the philosophy of Japanese cooking is to use fresh, quality ingredients, which is why he utilizes fresh, local fish, but he's also open to innovating with new ingredients.
But I wanna do more Japanese food. Not North American food. That's my policy. Japanese food has a pretty much long history, right? Then many people try and error, try to find the best way for Japanese food. So, but we have to do something new too. That one is not the deep fried sushi.
Not that.
No, not that way. But use a local new fish, create, that's more Japanese style. So I have to find out new product, new vegetables. I'm using a local Dungeness crab, the BC spot prawns, sockeye salmon, and albacore tunas, and sea urchin too. And ikura, that's all local.
Cooking philosophy differs from chef to chef. You could ask the same question 1,000 times and still get a different answer each time, as long as you're asking different chefs. This is why there can be several renditions of something as simple as a California roll. Every time a chef reinterprets and puts their spin on it, the California roll is reinvented, becoming something that's in a constant state of being changed and reworked. It's this process that gives way to renditions like the controversial deep-fried California roll. Wow, did you think you would be hearing about drama in the sushi world today? From hearing about Ko's early observations on North American food culture, we can already predict what the inspirations for the deep-fried California roll were. which ironically involves both deep frying and mayonnaise. Oyama Sushi, located on Kingsway and Royal Oak in Burnaby, is a Korean-owned Japanese restaurant that serves deep-fried rolls and other fusion rolls, like one called the hash brown roll. Mohammed Imran Udin, who has been working at Oyama as a sushi chef for 2 years, says their menu was developed based on the clientele's tastes.
So I found that like in Japanese style is a little bit different rather than in Western, like let's say Canada, America, US, like the sushi is a little bit different. So like I think based on the customer demand, they develop the menus.
Mohammed employs a whatever makes them happy philosophy when it comes to cooking. Rather than adhering to a grander cooking style, Mohammed is just happy to see his customers enjoy his food with a smile on their face.
I love to see customers' smile face. That make me really happy. So just make the customer and make the people happy is my philosophy.
Between someone like Mr. Yoshida, who has a more of a traditional, principled take on sushi, and someone like Mohammed, whose primary goal is to make his customers happy, we get a sense of the sort of struggles going through the mind of someone bringing their traditional cooking to a new country. While cooking philosophy surely plays a role, we can't forget that things like remaining profitable and being able to sustain themselves are probably huge factors as well. How each chef juggles the balance between these factors is what makes the conversation about evolving food cultures and the work of immigrants a never-ending story. Thanks for listening to this week's episode. I'd like to give a special thank you to Mr. Ko Yoshida and Mr. Mohammed Imran Udin for taking time out of their busy days to chat with us. Be sure to follow us on your preferred social platforms to be notified of new episodes. Next time, we'll be talking about the rise of Mexican food in Canada.
Everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikakane.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretnero.
And I'm Radhika Sikakane. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.